I'll start again. Our summer vacations. When we were little children back in the 1940s, our family would go to Hardwicke for 2 weeks every summer for a holiday with our aunt and uncle and 5 cousins. The twins were not born at that point. This was always the highlight of our summers. My mother would bake lots of sweets and pack them in 2 5-gallon lard cans so they wouldn't have to bake and bake anything during the holiday. We would board the train in Campbellton with our suitcases and lard cans and travel to Newcastle, then on to Chatham, where we would catch the bus to Hardwicke. It seemed like such a long trip. We felt like we would never get there. From Chatham to Hardwicke, there were 7 bridges that we had to go over or through. Some were covered. We counted them, knowing that each one brought us a little closer to our destination. When we got to the last bridge, we could see our uncle's house in the distance. We were so excited to get there. Our cousins were very happy to see us as well, and we would start our adventure. We would immediately start to roam around the fields, the barn, and the shore in the cove. It was a magical world for us, filled with laughter and fun. Everything was a new experience. We would dig clams or pick blueberries, wade in the shallow water in the cove, and see all the little minnows swimming around. We could help gather eggs from the hen house or jump in the hay in the barn loft, from the barn loft. We could play on the farm machinery. There was never a dull moment. I remember my Aunt Alice churning butter, which they probably did every week. They had a churn shaped like a stubby barrel that laid on its side. It probably had wedges or feet that kept it steady. There was a door on the top side and a crank on one end. Inside, there were paddles attached to the crank. The paddles kept the cream inside the churn moving. There was a spigot at the bottom of the end opposite the crank end. This was to drain off the buttermilk when the job was finished. It was such a novelty for us. We had never seen butter being made before. We probably spurred enthusiasm in our cousins who would see this experience through our eyes. They would be used to this event on a weekly basis. We all wanted to have a turn at the crank. When the buttermilk was formed, my Aunt Alice could tell by the sound. She got cups for us all from the cupboard. She opened the spigot and out poured the buttermilk. We all dipped our cups in the buttermilk. It was a new taste for me, and I think I would have liked it no matter what it tasted like. My little sister didn't like it, and she sure showed it by the look on her face. That was Lita. My cousins all could sing and play instruments. They all played by ear. My Uncle John played the violin, and my Aunt Alice could sing like an angel. At least I thought so. We had some very joyous times with all that music. The time flew ever so quickly, and it would soon be time to make our long trip back home with our suitcases and our empty lard cans.
You're an excellent writer.